Thanks for tuning in.
After getting back from an enlightening week, we got right back to the grind. Swivel seats, a ceiling, and an overhead shelf were calling our names. All three of these very luxury items showed us just how finicky they were to install, and some caused us more burnout than others. We 100% could have done things better, and for sure differently, but we're satisfied, for now at least. The first to do on our priority list was install our swivel seats. This was one of the things we mentioned that we wish we had 1,000 times on our South Dakota trip. We were also lucky that we only had to purchase one since our friend had an extra. The passenger seat was a breeze for Bryce to install. However, the driver's seat, well, it was more of a pain in the butt, only because we had to take out the battery and modify the e-brake. The one great thing that came from taking the seat apart was we did get to deep clean underneath it. One major encounter we found was there was a learning curve, and that was learning to swivel the seats like pro swivelers.
Okay. I've never really done this.
I don't really either.
So you pull it out.
Yep. You're starting to swivel. Oh. You gotta kind of hold up.
Where'd he go? Am I going the right way? Right?
Yep.
Yeah!
But over time, we have come a long way with learning all the swiveling techniques. After the swift install of the swivel seats, we then undertook the ceiling. And the ceiling seemed like it was going to be a piece of cake. However, it was more like a piece of shiitake pie. We started with insulating the roof. And yes, you guessed it right, we used more Reflectix, which we only used because we had so much left. We know it's probably not doing a whole lot for insulating, but it is doing a ton for our peace of mind. I could have probably done a better job with adhering it, but you live and you learn. While I finished up the insulation, Bryce started wiring the lights, and with our setup, we don't need to do a whole lot of wiring. Next, Bryce got to do the fun part of measuring the space and using sharp tools to cut stuff. I think by now he has mastered the skill of measuring things with odd measurements and cutting wood at weird angles. And his mastery was proven by cutting the right size hole for the Max air fan on the first try.
Nice.
I guess the moment of truth is what fit over the fan on the ceiling.
The first 3 panels turned out great. The fourth one, well, we'll get to that one in a bit. Once his cutting was done, I took my painting skills to the next level by attempting a whitewash for the ceiling. Then I was immediately shut down by how awful it looked and then reverted back to a more primitive style. Now, let's remind you of our fourth panel. We will call this segment Unforgiving Piece of Sheet. And now, here's a montage of us living in all of our glory.
But
I guess here it's fine.
it should bend. This is not what I expected.
Is it ever what you expect?
Like, I didn't want it to be a dented angle. Like, I wanted it to bow. Under straight down.
Well, look at the gap. Just scoot back.
I don't know if it can scoot back. Really frustrating.
Also, the camera picked up that you need to
screw right here. I feel like it's having a hard time in here.
What time is it?
6:30.
Finish this up. Still long out.
Trying really hard to fix it again.
Well, 8th time's the charm. Will it fit this time? Question to be answered in Van Life episode.
Not super pleased, but it's gonna be good enough for now.
In reality, it didn't turn out too awful when you don't look at it too closely. But we think after we add some ferning strips, it will be as beautiful as ever. We decided to take on the shelf literally the night before we left on our next trip, and we could have only done it all thanks to the man, the legend, the master of winging projects, and grunting incoherent directions.
Sorry.
My dad.
Documenting that we're sitting on these and watching him work.
All in all, we are super grateful for him, and glad we could have some bonding time while completing this. The shelf was super tricky, because no measurement is ever the same throughout the van. So there was a lot of thinking, a lot of staring, a lot of measuring, and then more thinking of how we can make this work. We also didn't have a lot of wood and supplies with us since we weren't at our normal building location. However, we were able to complete the shelf in time before we left. And it was awesome to have some place we could store things in a more relevant spot than beside our mattress. Unfortunately, we are going to have to redo it in the future, so I can stop giving myself concussions in the middle of the night. But now, at least we have some practice at building it. Finally, after we got everything completed on our to-do list, we were able to head off on our next adventure, Utah and Colorado. Stay tuned for our next video so we can take you along on our journey and show you some jaw-dropping views. Can't wait to see you then.